She asks, honey, what do you want to eat? And you say, I don't know. Then she says, honey, what movie do you want to watch? I don't mind. Where do you want to go on holiday? Hey, I'm easy, whatever you want. I go with the flow. Guys, if you say this, this is a massive turnoff for women. And today I'm going to show you why you are like this and how to fix this. Welcome to Masculine Charisma. I'm your men's coach, Faisal Kokar. There are too many men who don't know what they want. I was like this too. They're indecisive around attractive women. She asks a simple question and you freeze. It's like your lights just go off. She feels like dead weight that she's forced to carry when you do this. And she's losing attraction fast. So guys, here's what's really happening. You're operating from what psychologists call a covert contract. Secret deals and expectations you have made in your head. For example, if I'm nice enough, she'll want me. If I meet all her needs, she'll meet my needs. If I keep everybody happy, I'll be loved. But she never agreed to those contracts. She doesn't even know that they exist. And when she doesn't hold up her end of the deal she never made with you, you become angry, resentful, and passive aggressive. This is what Dr. Glover calls nice guy syndrome. Nice guys finish last. And in my work, I've identified 5 masculine fractures that show up in men and that create the core 5 wounds that keeps you stuck, indecisive, and people-pleasing. Now, you weren't always like this. As a boy, you had dreams and ambitions and desires. But somewhere along the way, you learned that having wants and needs was dangerous. Maybe your parents shut you down when you expressed your needs and your wants. Maybe you were told, stop crying, be a man, don't feel. You learned that to keep the peace, you had to give up on yourself. Your needs would only make things worse in your life. So what you did was you hid them under a rock of shame. And the shame became the driving force for your entire life. Shame about who you are, shame about what you want, and you became disconnected from your real core self. And now, as an adult, what you do is you're waiting for permission. You check for approval before you speak. And you say what others really want to hear, just to keep the peace, not to get rejected. The only emotion that you really feel is anger, because anger makes you feel alive. It makes you feel seen again. But it's inside, what you want is really simple. You want to feel like you matter, like you are valued, like you are cared for. Now, so how do we go about getting this? You can't think your way out of this. This is the only problem a lot of guys think, right? You have to feel your way back out of this, right? So what you're aiming is to become a whole integrated man, a man who embraces his power and his imperfection, his assertive side, but also his vulnerabilities, a man who doesn't need permission to exist, who doesn't need approval to have value. This is what I help men achieve through my 5 masculine fractures. So healing these wounds is the path of reclaiming yourself and your self-worth. Now, what I'm doing for December, and I want to do this every single December, is do a challenge. Throughout the day, multiple times a day, you want to ask yourself, what do I want, right? So inhale and say, what do I want? You don't need to answer it, just ask this question every single day. It's part of your practice. And then once a week for 61 minutes, right, you're going to do a meditation. And you're going to ask yourself, what do I want? And then sit in silence for 60 minutes. No moving, no fidgeting, no distraction. This is training yourself to prioritize your needs, to believe that you matter enough to take an hour for yourself. Right? So I'm doing this challenge in my private men's group throughout December, and it's a real challenge for the guys. It's because it's the men who are tired of not knowing what they want, signing these covered contracts, And if you guys want to, join the kind of like this work that I do with the guys, right? Check out the link before, because here's what I know. Right? You want to know, and you do know what you want, but the problem is under a layers of shame and guilt. And when shame and guilt runs your life, then you don't really connect with who you are. So you do know what you want, but it's inside that. And the 5 fractures, all the fractures keep you hidden. If you want to discover what they are, just book a call with me. There's a link in the description, and then I'll help you discover more of your worth, start raising your self-worth, your masculine charisma, and start living a life that you feel proud of. All right, gents, see you on the call.